Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ask the Skinny Guy Savior. I'm Vince Del Monte, and before we get to your questions on cutting today, we're going to be diving into some awesome fat loss getting cut questions, how to get cut questions. I know what you guys want to know. You guys want to know where I got this super rad gnarly t-shirt. So as some of you know, I just got back from Las Vegas, and it's a trip my wife and I take with a lot of our close friends once a year. We always go down on Olympia weekend, and we go down and we stay in different hotels. We blow our diets. We go to the pool parties. We go shopping, check out the shows and all that. And I got this one at the Miracle Mile. Miracle Mile's right across from Planet Hollywood, which is one of my favorite hotels. Last year we stayed in Cosmopolitan, which is another amazing hotel I highly recommend. And then this year we stayed at the Wynn. We went to Encore, which was another amazing hotel. So for all you young guys who want to plan yourself a trip, you want to look forward to something, I highly recommend Vegas. It's a great place, especially if you like to eat, live like a king. It's definitely not cheap. But, it's something that you can look forward to once a year. I never went to Vegas until I was in my mid-20s. And, I went with some buddies, and then it's become a thing that we do once a year. Now I go with my wife, and we have a great time. And it's also kind of cool in the theme of cutting. I'm trying to figure out how to tie this into our theme today. But, a lot of guys don't have deadlines. And I always say goals without deadlines are dreams. So having a trip on the calendar, even if it's to go to the Olympia and then go to the after party where there's a big pool party the day after, may be something that incentivizes you to really dial down, get in shape, and look your best. And sometimes you got to set goals like this. I got guys like me who compete. We have an advantage because we go up on stage. So those are really serious deadlines that we can't afford to mess up. So we have that little extra incentive. So sometimes just planning a trip, going to somewhere hot, going to somewhere where, obviously everybody's in great shape, and it's pretty motivating when you get there and you see all these people that are just like you who take care of themselves and work hard. And, when you leave, you're even more motivated to train harder and look better the next year. So hope you got something out of that. Let's get to the questions on cutting. Okay, so the first question goes to Corey Robertson. He says, "Hi Vince, love what you're doing here. What kind of weight training program do you follow when cutting? Low volume, high volume, rep ranges, splits, etc. Thanks." So very simple, Corey. I use almost the identical weight training workout that I use to bulk up as I do for when I want to cut. Think about it. Why would you change the protocol that solicited the muscle in the first place? If you used a certain volume, if you use certain rep ranges, if you use certain rest periods, if you use certain exercises to build the muscle, why would you change that when you want to cut? The whole purpose of weight training has one goal within a cutting phase: to retain your muscle. All right? So when you're in a caloric deficit, through your diet and through cardio, that's what's going to allow the weight to come off. You're really not, I train with the intensity and mentality that I'm going to try and build muscle. If it happens, it's a bonus. But most people who are in a caloric deficit are not going to build any new muscle. So the weight training has one purpose: keep the muscle you currently have. Okay? So use the same program. That's how I would do it. So the next question goes to Matt Kennedy. Matt Kennedy Climpton, he says, "Hi Vince, thanks for your assistance. I'm 31, currently cutting," so you're a year younger than me. "I'm 31, currently cutting with aim of under 10% body fat." He's at 14% now. The diet is low carb, low calorie 5 days, and high carb, high calorie for 2 days a week on main weight training days. Okay, so I guess you're doing the Okay. Have been monitoring results and body fat percentage. Have been doing approximately 1% a month. Is this average? Also, what caloric deficit is 10 to 30%? What happens if you drop below, say, 40%? Okay, so carb cycling requires some tweaking because you're going up and then you're going down and then you're coming up, and then you have to kind of monitor your weight typically once a week to see if you're dropping, because on those carb days sometimes you'll notice your weight goes up because of all the extra glycogen and water your muscles retain from the high days. But then after the kind of levels off, you'll hit a new low every X amount of days. So carb cycling is a little tricky. It requires a little more attention to detail. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to be aware of that, as opposed to a method that I prefer where I just taper my calories down slowly. So I keep it really basic. It works. Now, I would recommend you strive for 1% a week. That's like the going rate. 1% of your body fat per week is more of on track, more of an efficient goal. I would strive to kind of speed it up a little so that you're close to 1% per week. Okay, so the next question goes to Kyle Hitchhawk. Hey Kyle, what's going on? I'm 21. My goal is to cut to 8% fat. I lift 5 times a week. How can I throw in a cardio routine that will bring me to my goal without, I don't even know what that word is. Platoing. Oh, plateauing. Oh, you mean, okay, I'm sorry. You mean a plateau, which is spelled Plateau. Don't worry, I wasn't great at spelling myself. I do know how to spell plateau. I'm currently at 16% body fat. So give yourself 8 weeks. Kyle, 1% of body fat per week is a realistic goal. That would be a comfortable way to travel down to 8% body fat. Now, obviously, there's methods that you can do to drop body fat much quicker. Just understand it's gonna be a more bumpy ride. You know what I'm saying? So lifting 5 times a week is great. I recommend for weight training, cutting 5 times a week minimum. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Take Thursdays and Sundays off. In terms of cardio, what I would do is I would start off with what I call the minimal effective dose. So start off with 3 times a week of 20 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Don't overthink about when you do it. If you have to do it, if you want to do it in the morning, that's fine. If you want to do it at the end of the day, that's fine. The first thing is just to do it. Get 20 minutes of high intensity interval training Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you'd only add a 4th session if you're not losing that 1% per week. Focus on the intensity of those 20 minutes to increase before you add any more time to those as well. Okay, next question is from Dana Maurer. This will be the last question for today. Dana wants to know, hey Vince, Vince, I know this is the Skinny Guy Savior show, but I think this question might apply to men and women in the same situation. I'd like to drop to 10% of my body fat. I'm 25% now, and I was wondering where my diet should be as far as protein, carb, and fat percentages. Do the numbers change if the amount of exercise I'm doing is very little? I do better building the healthy eating habits when I have it down, making exercise a habit. Okay, absolutely. So the more you train, obviously the more needs you have for calories, carbs, proteins, fats, etc. So your meal plan obviously needs to dictate your body's needs. So this is kind of tricky to answer since I don't know, how much exercise you're doing. But what I typically like to do to keep it really simple when we want to start off initiating fat loss, 1% of your body fat per week, is to eat balanced. You don't need to make it fancy. 40, 30, 30. 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat. Now, obviously, this is a starting point to start making outcome-based decisions. I'll explain that concept in another episode, and we want to see what happens. Most people who simply eat balanced, a bit of carbs, a bit of proteins, a bit of fats with every meal 5 times a day, stabilizes your hormones, makes it very simple to follow, not complicated, and you simply start reducing those portion sizes in small increments from week to week. That's it. That's it for another episode. We did some cutting questions. There was actually over 12 cutting questions that came in. So the next 2 episodes, if you asked a question on fat loss, how to get cut, how to get ripped, how to get your body fat lower, they will be answered in the next 2 episodes. So stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. And if you want your question answered in a future episode, be sure to join VinceDelmonteFanpage.com. That's where you can like the page, and then you'll get notified in your Facebook feed when I ask for questions. If you don't like the page, you're not going to get notified when I ask for the questions. So that's why I ask you to do that, so that you can have an opportunity to have your question asked on the show. All right, guys, you guys rock. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you guys very soon.